All right. For Combat Zone Episode 1, we are lucky enough to have the guest. We have a BKFC fighter, karate combat fighter, Misfits boxing personality. He does it all. APFC commenter. We got Ben the Bane Davis. Thank you for coming on, sir.
Oh man, what an intro. I appreciate that, Jack. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm super excited. Like I said, I've been following you for a long time, seeing everything you're doing. My first question for you is how did you get into the world of MMA media?
It's a long story, but to summarize it as best I can, I was pretty tired of doing finance. And so I was like, I'm going to jump off a bridge if I continue down this path. Needed a change. And thankfully, mixed martial arts content creation gave that to me.
That's awesome. And the content you're making is hilarious. It's great. Ended up working out great for you. My next question is how did you end up getting connected with APFC and commentating their shows?
That's a good question. So last June, I got word from Damian Rodriguez, who is one of the managing executives over at APFC, that they were interested in trying to find a different play-by-play commentator. I had obviously been working with a couple smaller shows at that point in time. This would be the biggest step I'd taken as a play-by-play commentator, and got on the phone, expressed what I felt I could bring to the table, and told them I was going to do it cheaper than anyone else to make sure I could get the opportunity. And thankfully, a year and a half later, we're still chugging along.
That's awesome. APFC started in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, right by UW Oshkosh. That's the reason I asked. It's great watching you on that show, and the promotion is doing great going to Hammond, Indiana, hopefully covering that show.
Let's go.
My next question for you is for Misfits Boxing, you were the fighter interviewer. If I'm not mistaken, you commentated this last card. What made you decide to actually participate in fighting and not only fighting Anderson Silva's son?
Well, a lot of it boiled down to wanting to get to broadcasting opportunities with DAZN and being one of the on-air talents for Misfits. I was going to fight anybody, that they put in front of me to make sure that I had that full week to build relationships and manage, my first impression with these people. I articulated to many individuals that week in Newcastle last year that fighting's not really what I can bring to you guys. It's not the most value I can add. But yeah, they called and Gabe was the name, and I just thought that was an added layer to it. What a cool opportunity, and certainly a fun chapter that I got to share the ring with him that night. And been broadcasting since January with Misfits, and that train does not look to stop anytime soon.
No, it was awesome. Takes some big cojones to do that, getting in the ring in any kind.
Ha!
But
I
with
don't know. Yeah.
no, I mean it was great. But with that, you've not only boxed, you have also competed in grappling for Fury FC. What was it like
Mhm.
preparing for that?
Not much preparation you can do in 5 days against an ADCC level black belt. Brad Bolton, the president of CFFC, him and I went back on Twitter in a very friendly exchange. And, Rob Hadak, their CEO, reached out to me and was like, would you be interested in coming out and doing this in Philadelphia in literally 5 days? And I was like, sure. I was coming back from working a karate combat event and was like, I got nothing else going on this weekend, so why not? Was a little bit annoyed, candidly, with how things went. It was supposed to be just a friendly thing. I ended up being in a boot for 6 weeks because Brad snapped my ankle. So that was less fun than I had thought it was going to be, but no hard feelings, and it was a cool experience.
And you look great doing it. The rash guard looked amazing.
Dude, I don't know about that, man. I was fucking chunky in that rash guard, brother. I
Hey,
was
you're looking good now.
one.
You just keep going down.
That's the point, dude. If I ever do an MMA debut, I am 100% going to do it at bantamweight because A, I know I can get there,
Hey,
and I will look beyond slim. Everyone that's called me fat for the last year and a half, I'm going to be like, listen, I'm no longer fat. In fact, I'm chronically underweight now.
listen, as a fat myself, I don't think you were ever that fat. I think you were doing good, but now you're just becoming a super athlete, you know?
Hey, there we go. There we go. The abs are coming in one day. They're loading one rep at a time.
Now, like you mentioned, karate combat, you got in there after
Mm.
broadcasting and won. How was that? You beat Most Wanted in a very exciting fight. You won decisively. How did that go?
Fantastic. Got the hand raised for the first time, which was very nice. I think it had become a joke that I just lost everything that I'd gone and attempted. So having that opportunity and that level of opponent allowed me to display, I'm not the world's worst athlete. And yeah, it was fun. He's a great kid. I liked Most Wanted a lot. It was a nice experience to get to a different organization and, flip a different stone over. The whole week in Orlando was very nice. It was the middle of summer, so it was pretty hot, which did make the weight cut easy. I mean, I had about 8 pounds I needed to shed on Monday when we arrived, so that went by extremely quick thanks to the humidity. But yeah, whole karate combat experience. Really enjoyed it. They asked me to do a fight on their Singapore card that occurred a couple days ago,
Yep, watch
but
that.
yeah, it was a fun one. I was a little bit bummed because I think Singapore is a great country and a fun place, but just couldn't, obviously with the BKFC, I had already been locked into a fight camp, so maybe one day I'll come back.
Awesome. Uh, Now two questions regarding karate combat. What is it like getting to work your kicks into a fight? You really got to show that, put it on him.
Yeah.
And I've always wondered, what is it like fighting with the gi pants on? Do you wear shin guards underneath that? What is the deal?
I'll answer that last question first. So the Florida State Athletic Commission, because Most Wanted and I didn't have a lot of experience, made us wear shin guards, which was very frustrating because I had been planning on not doing that the entirety of the 3.5 weeks leading up to it. I was very confident that without shin guards, those body kicks that I was really practicing and landed within the fight, I was like, without shin guards, those would be way more painful. And his ability to block upstairs as frequently as he did would be completely impacted if it was just my shin colliding with his forearms. So I do think that there was a lot of damage that he was spared from because of the shin guard. So that was a bit annoying. The pants were fine. Honestly, the quality of the whole gi was pretty solid and fun. It was great to wear the whole get up and film some of those pre-fight tapes and the head-to-head videos. It's all, fun, goofy stuff, but it does feel cool. You're like, oh man, I'm actually in the thick of it right now, which is all well and good. But yeah, the 4-ounce gloves, I'll say this, not much padding, not a lot of padding.
That was gonna be my next question. What is it like
Yeah.
to hit with the 4-ounce gloves?
It's fucking irritating. He landed, I think, two or three good shots that got my attention. And I remember when it connected, I was like, that was annoying. That was a thud. So yeah, I mean it really is one of those things where even if you're training, the experience of a live round and getting clocked with one of those, even by someone as small as Most Wanted, I was like, fuck, I cherry picked this small opponent, and there's no way I'm gonna let him knock me out.
You did. You put it on him. Now, like you mentioned as well, the BKFC fight coming up in Marbella, Spain.
Yeah.
Fellow media member Oscar Willis. Couple questions here. One, what is it like dipping your hands into the concrete to make those hands heavy?
Oh, it's fantastic. It truly is a nice experience every morning at 9 a.m. and every evening at 6:30 p.m., right? So I get the sunset and the sun rising, and I'm just dipping, injecting it into my veins. I feel myself changing. I truly might have to go to the hospital after this experience because of the damage I've done to my ligaments through all of this concrete. But I'm becoming a monster, I can assure you that.
That's awesome. Now, Oscar Willis, very
Yep.
well-known media member. You're fighting in a bullfighting arena in Marbella, Spain. Doesn't get much cooler than that. On a big stage, a triple champ card as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you're kind of turning into this combat sports wild man, saying yes to all sorts of stuff.
That's the goal, is flip over every single stone imaginable. I didn't think it would lead to an opportunity like this. Like you mentioned, the card is beyond star packed. Like what an honor it is to be participating within it. You've got Kodak Black, you've got Exhibit, among other musical guests I don't know if they're performing on the night or throughout the week. I haven't gotten a chance to look at the itinerary for everything, but it's just going to be an experience in Marbella, a place I haven't been to. So, and against an opponent who I really like, Oscar and I don't really have any bad blood. This is an exciting matchup that he's really pumped up for, and I know he's training hard for, and me on the same side of it. So this is, I think, one of those for the fans type fights where it's just guaranteed violence and everybody kind of wins, and it should just be entertainment.
I personally can't wait. I'm super
Yeah.
excited for it. Like you guys said in your interview, you're gonna try and fist each other. That'll be a great time. But you've been training in the gym, same gym as Kevin Knapp's dad. Great fighter. Has he been
Yeah.
helping you train him?
That's actually my coach.
Oh, awesome. Look at that. What has it
Kevin,
like
yeah.
training with Kevin Knapp's dad?
Kevin Quicksand to TV Dad, that's my brother right there. He led me to that karate combat victory. And so we had the experience in June, and I really enjoyed what he brought to the table in terms of intelligence, in terms of the specific techniques we worked on, how he ran sessions with me. It was just a nice, it was a nice blend. And so ahead of this BKFC opportunity, I was like, Kevin, if your schedule works out, let's run it back. And thankfully it was. And it's been fantastic. We've added in a lot more one-on-one sessions because usually what I do is I'd go down to Arizona Combat Sports and I would just be in there the entirety of the afternoon and the evening, getting rounds in sparring, just running techniques and drills. And I thought there was a lot of value in that, but I sort of articulated to Kevin, like, man, I need one-on-one pad sessions. We got to be sharpening stuff up, working on stuff, and I think that's going to ultimately take me to the next level and equip me with the tools necessary to do something as fucking stupid as bare knuckle. I'm like, I want to make sure that we got all our bases covered because this is as hardcore as it gets. So this camp, while it's not as long as maybe I want it to be, it's been full of what I think I have to have in order to win on October 12th.
Awesome. And next question for that, how are you training for a bare knuckle fight? It's a lot different than hitting with any sort of pads on or
Yeah.
gloves on. You did boxing gloves, you went down to 4 ounce gloves. Now you got nothing. How do you prepare for
Yeah.
that?
It's tough, man. I mean, you can't really simulate a live bare knuckle round. That would be beyond irresponsible. So what we've been doing is training, and I've actually been training in the karate combat gloves because of how small they are. We're like, okay, if we're hitting pads with these, if we're doing light sparring rounds, this will be a close look that is near representative. But we're doing a lot of flow rounds where it is just bare knuckle, and me and my sparring partners don't have anything on, and it's slow. We're not going hard at all. But just to visualize and see, the defense is going to be our biggest concern. If I'm keeping my chin in the right places, if I'm putting my hands where they need to be, 10-ounce gloves, I can hide behind. I can hide behind 10-ounce gloves pretty effectively. And especially now with, a year since that Misfits experience and that night specifically, I know where to just fucking shell up. I'm not going to get hurt. With these bare knuckle, stipulations, it can sneak through the smallest of gaps. So we're really just working to close it. I want to make this hard for Oscar. If Oscar wants to knock me out, I'm going to make it hard for him.
That's awesome. Now, thank you so much for your time. I can't thank you enough. Good luck in Marbella, Spain.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you.